the Dungeon Gamers collaboration. My name is Jeffrey Russell Wallace, and welcome to this special map edition on our channel. Now, I realize that I've been pointing out a lot of different locations in the world of Gale Frowick, particularly on the continent of Waxairion, and I have no map to show for it, so I figured that I would break down the map, kind of give you a general overview, and then break it down into different sections so you can see the different cities and the names. Now, the map isn't going to look the best. As always, I'm very theater of the mind when it comes to these sort of things, so it's a rough outline to give you a general idea of the location, what's around it, and where the cities are. So, let's get started. Here's the full map. Now I'm going to start in the upper left of the map and move my way to the right and all the way back around to the top left. You will notice that there are certain open areas and sections that aren't filled in. That is on purpose. The world is still very young, not a lot of places have been set yet, and it also allows my players to join in some creativity with me when the moment calls. Perhaps cities have risen and fallen since then, but these are some of the major ones that tend to stay throughout the story. Starting in the upper left on the archipelago there, we have the city of Dashvenseer. Dashvenseer is a very religious city, a plethora of gods that are worshipped there, and filled with holy people. Sithengard is a trade city off the peninsula there, and down below that we have the Tolmosis Islands, which is a very interesting set of iron-tasting, almost blood-like wine that comes off of these islands, known to be run by Tolmos and his family and their many generations. The Cold North, as it's called by many of the people on Waxairion, Erlsum is at the uppermost north there, and not much is known about that location. It's said that to reach it is nearly impossible these days, sort of shrouded in mystery, and I'll leave it that way until any story reveals more about its nature. Icelius is a place in the middle of that cold north. It is a location of a very tribal folk. They have history and lore that dates back to a cold disease that had taken over in that particular location and the surrounding upper north. It's also where Isidore is from in our Fell Nightmares campaign, although they are more down and sort of hidden within a ravine that drops below the city of Icelius. Gluflovius is the trade hub before going north. It is where everyone stops. You have the ability, if you have the magical means, of course, to go upriver to Gluflovius, or to hike your way through the snow and find it. But that particular location is sort of a bastion before marching farther into the cold. Now again, there are other sort of tribal setups of roving nations that move among the north here, but none that are set in stone. We hit the coast again on the other side. We have at the very top there the city of Valor. Valor holds a special place in my heart. It is one of the first places that I ever built. And it is a sort of cut off from the rest of the world location. This is where your criminals and those who wish not to be found typically flee. And there's a reason for that. But it is a unique town, typically divided into two separate sort of statuses of upper class and lower class, but not always. It depends on the shifting economics within that town. But between Valor, after several miles, and the Tri-Cities, as they're called, Grootvenstash, Bailemore, and Vostomir, there is a field known as the Mind Reaper Field. Now, Mind Reapers are a creature in my setting that are terrifying monstrosities, these long, spindly bodies, sort of clover-looking heads, this almost tube-esque mouth that comes down and opens up to a sort of spinning teeth circular jaw. They tend to feast on magical types as they kind of wrap their spiraling teeth around the heads of individuals and suck out their brains slowly, or rather feed on their intelligence. But due to their terrifying nature and the fields that lie in between, getting to Valor holds many challenges, and challenges that most people aren't willing to face. That is why, if you're going to get away, it is the perfect location. to get out of the eye and view of someone who may be hunting you, but at great risk or cost to get there. The Tri-Cities are broken down into 3 unique and odd cities. Gruklenstash is known as the Arena City or the Battle City, and as it sounds, glory through combat is held there on many, many a day. Bylanmore is a magical city. It has a tower to each school of magic. Vastamir is a city of payment and doors. In essence, in order to get from one location to another, there is almost always a cost. Very rarely is there a door that opens without a coin being inserted, whether that's copper, all the way up to a gold, a platinum, or several coins in order to access this. So it is sort of a hierarchy city, split into these sections of people who can afford to move about it and those who can't. There is a vast amount of wealth in this city, and if you learn how to control the flow of coin, you can become very, very influential here. We have Stalgenmar, the 2 cities there, and its port as well. Stalgenmar is known for its massive navy and its highly defensible location. Stalgenmar has not fallen since it was built. Storvakungor Mountains has the Storvakungor stronghold and has Kenir. The stronghold is a stronghold that is populated by both hill and mountain dwarves. They use the outer of the mountain as farmlands, fields, natural resources that get pulled deeper into the mountain and allow the mountain dwarves to delve deeper and survive in essence. They need each other. Kenir, for many, many years, and still to an extent is, a sort of hidden city in the mountains. Kenir has what's known as the Council of Colors. It is a location in which all colors of Dragonborn have learned to coexist. They use each other's strengths and support each other's weaknesses. Anyone that breaks from the council itself or has ill will towards the council is dismissed or executed immediately. There is no room for not working together within this city. Although many attempts of the rise and fall of Kenir have of course occurred. It's hard to deny that dragon blood. The river that flows is the river Rapinadides, and the 2 towns that flank it, which is Rapin and Adides, typically called by just the river's name, for the 2 of them. It is a heavy commerce town of fish and olives and other sorts of natural, warm environment sort of growth, and move inland slightly for some of their fields as well. Further south, Isilmat is the Storm Mountain itself. The gray section on this map is known as the Stormlands, and that is because it is constantly engulfed by storm. As a matter of fact, if you've noticed, there are sort of these elements that trace across the map, and, well, that is due to previous campaigns that they have sort of been set in place on the continent of Waxairion. Not many people live on the mountain of Isilmat itself, or really in the town there. It's a very small population, but there are some people that brave and strive in the storm. Stingily down the mountain is a place known for the Storm Riders. They're a different variety of mounts and creatures that seem to be more elementally attuned towards the Stormlands. Ivarnar is the edgemost city on the Stormlands, and although on the Stormlands itself is not quite as affected by the heavy chaotic storms, just a slight bit of rain, which makes for certain crops growing rather well there. And they are also sort of the bastion before one moves into the Stormlands themselves. They help prepare people, give them supplies, and may even direct them for a cost. Starting at the uppermost city, Toromar, also known as Yanelius. It's changed names throughout history. But Toromar is a great commerce city in the desert. Yes, there's sort of a theme for those seaside cities, of course being heavy in commerce and trade with each other. Toromar also has many, many guilds that run the different pieces of the town, all of which serve the Sultan of the desert. Speaking of the Sultan, Drithmarzith is his capital, and is a winding mess and maze that continues up and inward and climbs up to his keep. It is very hard to reach the Sultan, and rumor is even harder to assassinate him. His guards are well known to be some of the best, or maybe it's his luck. Sequoiter, the outermost city of the desert, much like many of the other cities that lie sort of on the edge or closer to the edge, is that stepping stone into the desert. You're going to have your supplies, your preparation there, your guides, that sort of entrance city. Fernkennel is known for its smiths. It is a city of widely known and highly talented smiths. Prul is a smaller town and leads towards the volcano there, although showing as a mountain is a volcano that goes from active to inactive depending on the setting. But Prul will help those that are intending to go up the mountain or into the volcano for whatever insane reasons they may have. It is also a city of fire casters, so if you're looking for that type of magic or someone who specializes in it, Prul is an excellent place to look for that. The Varover Mountains towards the south is a range of mountains where very unusual creatures lie. There are rumors of entrances to the Underdark there, but that's true for most mountains in the setting here. I will leave that to an open air until more is revealed in potential future stories. Soltarius is a town of holies. In this town, anyone that has a tie to a god or holy blood is considered and revered as a higher born than everyone else. They get discounts, they have higher standings, they can hold court. It is a great place if you're a religious type and an awful place if you are not. Farther to the north there is Vaquil, which is a small town, used to be populated by several river fishers that had set up and just enjoyed a quiet life there. Recently, however, there have been some goblins that moved in, and, well, if you've seen Fell Nightmares, you're aware they're sort of an odd bunch. The city on the very edge of the mountain range, the Yanarak Mountains there, is the city of Yanarak itself. Yanarak is in constant turmoil between the Drow and the dwarves holding this land. One is typically conquering and enslaving, and then the other will conquer and do the same. But if you find yourself during a time of strife, a good amount of coin can be earned if you spend enough time in Yanarak. And due to the consistent turmoil that's occurring, there are very powerful warriors and even powerful spellcasters if you know where to look. Down towards the southern center of my map is the Well of the World. The Well of the World changes and fluctuates frequently based on setting, but typically has some sort of well-themed environment. Is somewhat of like a tourist trap, if you will. But although that may be the case, don't be fooled. There's quite a bit of power near this well. You just have to know where to look. We have the Runes of Rovan. The Runes of Rovan are well known for the fall of Baltimar. Baltimar being a devil that would come to the material plane to wipe it clean and reset it. This kept anyone from becoming too powerful or from too many nations from rising. It turned out that it was some sort of divine will that this was done, but most of this has been lost to history, and very few know of the true nature of Baltimar or the original agreement. But Rovan had many noble lords and rulers that provided great aid in Baltimar's fall, and is where one of the heroes that fell Baltimar is from. The Rituismons Mountain, also known as the Ritual Mountain, a place that said anyone looking to perform any sort of ritual can traverse and eventually come across some ancient knowledge. However, many don't return from such ventures, so one might say go at your own risk. Veselit Fotduizoit translates in Draconic to Drake's Discoveries, a town of knowledge that follows a god of knowledge. The place is filled with libraries and different inns, and there is once a year a festival known as a Knowledge Festival, in which angels of knowledge descend down upon the onlookers and provide a blessing to them. There are also several pages that fall from the sky that are cryptic and provide some sort of hints into the future. Finally, a town formed by the heroes themselves from the fall of Baltimore, Workavor Stornzivith, which is the kingdom of the setting sun. Workavor Stornzivith over time has become a sort of hunter's ground. People who specialize in hunting different things exist here, hunting devils, demons, fae, whatever sort of guild may form to hunt a creature. Workavor Stornzivith certainly has it. Thank you so much for doing this roundabout the map with me. I hope it answers some questions and helps you see the world a little more clearly. Until next time, I hope that joy, peace, and kindness are with you. And until then, stay epic, my friend!